Hey, what's up YouTube fam? It's Ben here, back with another flow. As always, we got new videos here every Wednesday and Sunday, so please feel free to subscribe if you want to join the crew and continue building your practice together. With that being said, today's class is going to be a little bit quicker. We're going to get right into some energetic movements, and then we'll cool it down with some longer holds and restorative stretches, almost like a yang into some yin type flow. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started in a downward facing dog. So getting right into our down dog shape. And I forgot to mention this, but you don't need anything in terms of props for today's practice. I have a bolster or a cushion laying behind me that I'll probably use when we get to the restorative portion of the class, but you don't truly need anything. So coming into your downward facing dog and using a few breaths just to work on your foundation, to pedal one foot out then the other, to notice what it feels like to drive through the hands. As you do so, notice what the fingertips are doing. Are they gripping down into the mat? Is there some space between each one of the fingertips? And then notice what kind of sensations are arriving in the body. Maybe the backs of the legs are starting to expand. As they expand, can you feel the fronts of the legs starting to engage, the quads, the shins? Pressing down through the heels. And regardless of whether your heels hit the mat or if they're floating off the mat somewhere, just keep that sensation of pressing down through the heels, finding that length in the Achilles and the ankles. And then just taking a few more deep breaths here. Already feeling some warmness from challenging the body a little bit. Good. We'll take a deep breath in. And we'll lift our right leg up to three-legged dog, up to the sky. Bend your right knee, bring your right knee in toward your chest, and then lean forward into a sort of mountain climber position. You can even hug your knee in toward your nose. You're hugging up and forward so much. Feel the shoulder blades separating out of the back. Drive through the palms as much as you can. Good. We'll stay here for 3, 2, 1, come back to three-legged dog, lift the right heel up to the sky, and then return to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, and a big sigh out. As you inhale, lift the left leg up to three-legged dog, create some space. And then bend the left knee, bring the left knee in toward the chest and lean forward into this mountain climber position. Keep hugging up through the right knee, feel the core, find that lift and lightness. Rise onto the right toes. Find so much energy here. For 3, 2, 1. Left heel lifts back up to three-legged dog. And then release down to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Bend the knees a lot until your belly gets closer to your thighs. And then spring forward into a high plank position. When you get to high plank, pause, knowing that you can always drop your knees down to the mat in high plank. And it's just as much a high plank with your knees down. It's just a simple variation that helps some people find stability. But wherever you're at, again, keep noticing what it feels like to drive through the hands. Can you breathe through the challenge? I know we're all feeling this, but can we breathe? Good, we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Downward facing dog, lift the hips up and back, press down through the heels. This time we'll look forward between the palms and take a bunch of little steps, walking the feet up to the hands, forward fold, top of the mat. Use this as an opportunity to get off of the hands. In your forward fold, maybe you find ragdoll by clasping opposite hand to elbow and letting the shoulders relax. Or a more active option for now is to clasp the hands behind the low back and then lift the palms overhead for a deeper shoulder stretch. Whatever kind of forward fold you chose, just feel a restorative sensation from this shape. Just enough engagement in the legs to keep it safe and to sway side to side, but otherwise really just letting everything soften. Take a deep breath in and a big sigh out. Halfway lift, extend the spine forward, palms can meet the legs, or you can just rise onto the fingertips, and then fold to release. Rise up to standing, lift the palms overhead, And then bring the palms to heart center. We'll take 3 deep breaths as you're ready. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, reach the hands up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, palms lift. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep the palms overhead. Exhale, fold and release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, palms lift. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands lift, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, palms lift. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. As you fold, plant the palms on the mat and then step back into a high plank pose. Find your strength here. Bring your feet a little bit wider apart. Feel the quads engage. Keep lifting through the low core. Keep externally rotating the arms by wrapping the triceps back. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, beautiful work, 2, 1. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. We'll lift the right leg up to the sky, 3-legged dog, and then take a big step right foot outside of right hand. Maybe if you're me, you have to move your cat out of the way in order to do so. Keep both palms on the mat. Keep your left knee lifted. Start rocking back and forth. We're in this nice low lizard lunge. If you'd like to, you can even rise onto your fingertips in this lizard lunge. Either way, we're bringing most of the weight into the feet here. The hands are there for support and to keep us stable, but really most of the strength is in the feet here, lightness in the palms. As you rock forward and back, up and down, just feel this continued nice opening all throughout the hips. Good. From here, drop the left knee down to the mat. Release the left toes behind you. We'll twist the right hand up to the sky. For twisted lizard lunge, option to roll onto the outer blades of both feet by twisting deeper and kind of turning the right knee gently out toward the right side. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, release down to the mat. Now use the hands to frame the right foot into low lunge Anjanayasana and then lift the palms up to the sky. Pressing the left hip forward and down, pulling the right hip back a little bit to square, and then just feeling the nice extension in the left hip. The flexion in the right hip, so much going on as we lift the chest and lift the palms. Take a breath in and a breath out. Release the hands down to the mat, tuck the right toes, lift the right, or tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, and then send the hips back in space. Straighten the right leg in some capacity for this modified pyramid pose with the hips squared. And again, in some capacity means from this runner's lunge position, you might only straighten your right leg a little bit. Eventually, we're working that range of motion, keeping that active stretch so that one day we can fully straighten and then fold over the right shin, keeping a long spine here. Take a breath in and a breath out. Start to bend into your right knee, into runner's lunge, and then rise all the way up into your high crescent shape. Good. Feeling so much strength, bringing a little bounce into the hips. Taking it nice and slow this first round, just feeling into everything. Bring your palms to heart center. Lean the chest forward and then twist to the right for a twisted crescent lunge. Use the bind of your left elbow hooking onto your right knee to press your chest a little bit higher. Try to keep the hips stable as you twist. We're twisting from the core, from the back muscles, not from the hips. Good. Start to release this and come into high crescent lunge. Then we'll open into a Warrior Two shape. Relaxing in the shoulders, feeling the right knee gently press out toward the right side. Breathing here. The right heel should be roughly in alignment with the arch of the left foot. But again, doesn't need to be perfect. You adjust to your own body. Good. From Warrior Two, listen carefully. We'll bring both hands down to the mat, to the top left corner of the mat, or maybe even off the mat. And then we'll walk the right foot a little bit wider out to the side. You can even rise onto your fingertips. So we're just in this nice active stretch here. And I know we've been on this side for a while, so we'll get off soon. But by bringing the hands to the top left corner of the mat, we're coming into almost a side angle shape. We're finding a deep stretch in the inner right hip, pulling the hips back in space, reaching the chest forward. Take a breath in and a breath out. Place the left hand on the mat closer to the middle of the mat. Rise onto the balls of the left foot and then twist the right hand to the sky, revolve side angle. Take a breath in, a breath out. Release the right hand down to the mat and step back to high plank pose. We'll stay in high plank for 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog, hips sent up and back. Amazing work, amazing opening. As you're ready, we'll lift the left heel to the sky, three-legged dog, and take a big step left foot outside of left hand. Again, this is where we'll hang out and rock the weight around for a few moments. So you can stay on your hands. You can rise onto your fingertips if that feels okay. You can even drop down to your right knee if you want here. There's really no rules. It's your practice, your body. Especially if you're at home, nobody's watching. You can really do whatever you want here. The intention is simply to get deeper into the hips and bring some opening and activity into the leg muscles. Good. From here, if your knee is still lifted, we'll drop the right knee down to the mat and twist the left hand to the sky. Option to stay here, option to roll more onto the outer blades of each foot, and then pressing the left knee gently out toward the left side of our mat to open the hips. Take a breath in. Good. Exhale, release the right knee back down. Square off the hips. Once again, come into Anjanayasana Low Lunge. Lifting the chest high. Feeling the right knee, or right hip rather, push forward and down. Left hip pulls back. Find that nice squaring sensation to lengthen both hips. Hands can stay down. Hands can lift up to the sky if that felt good last time. Any dynamic movements are welcome here, or you could just work your way into the low lunge. Beautiful. Take one more breath in. As you breathe out, release the hands down to the mat, tuck the right toes, lift the right knee off the mat, and then straighten the left leg in some capacity. Remember, the goal here in this modified pyramid is just to get a little deeper into the left hamstring, so no worries at all if you can't straighten the left leg completely. Just keep a nice bend in there. If you have yoga blocks in your practice, you can place them under the palms here as a great modification. The only reason I teach with no blocks is just so that everyone can do these practices and doesn't feel like they need to buy equipment for it. But if you have blocks, they're a wonderful resource that I normally use in my practice. But anyways, from here, we'll start to bend into the left knee, bring ourselves forward into this runner's lunge, and then rise on up, releasing the hands from the mat as they rise into a high crescent lunge. And I have a pretty decent bend in my right knee so far. That's because I'm still kind of warming up into this side of my body. So I'm not worried about having the most intense lunge, just creating a little more strength, creating a little bit more space. Bring the palms to heart center, lean forward, and then twist to the left for your crescent twist. The right elbow will hook on the left knee. We'll use that bind to press down to lift the chest higher. Again, just be mindful about where your right leg is in space. Be mindful about your hips in space because we want this twist to come from the core and the back muscles. Good. We'll start to release. Reach the hands up to the sky, and then we'll open into our Warrior Two shape. Take some time to settle into this shape, gradually bending a little deeper into the left knee. Again, the arch of the left, or the heel of the left foot is roughly in alignment with the arch of the right foot. Keep breathing. And then we'll find that nice deep hip stretch by reaching both palms off the right corner of the mat, somewhere in the top right quadrant of your mat, and then maybe bring your left foot even wider over toward the left edge of your mat. Send the hips back in space, reach the arms forward. Find this nice deep stretch, but with all 4 points of contact on the mat, we can just find a little bit more stability in the deep opener here. Good. And from here, again, a little funky transition, a little challenging. We'll place the right hand closer toward the middle of the mat as we'll turn onto the balls of the right foot as we square forward, and then twist the left hand up to the sky, revolved side angle. Take a deep breath in here. As we exhale, bring the left hand down to the mat. We'll step back to high plank. We'll remain in high plank. Feel free to drop in your knees for 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog, hips send up and back. Beautiful work. So that's our sequence. We'll find some rhythm and start moving a little bit quicker as we continue to open the body and build a whole lot of strength. Inhale, reach the right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Step the right foot outside of the right hand. Reach the heart forward. Find your deep lizard lunge, maybe rise onto the fingertips here. Left hand remains down, drop down to the left knee, twist up to the sky. Option to roll onto the outer blades of both feet as you twist. Release down to the mat. Come into Anjanayasana Low Lunge, left knee down, hands up to the sky, top of the left foot presses down behind you. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, hands drop to the mat. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee off the mat, and then straighten the right leg in some capacity as the hips pull back and we find some kind of fold over the right shin. Start to release this, pull it forward, and rise up into your high crescent lunge. Bring your palms to heart center, lean forward, and then twist to the right. Hook your left elbow on your right knee. Use that to create more space around the spine. Come back through center, lift the hands up, high crescent. Warrior Two, open toward the left side of your mat now. Find the relaxation in the shoulders, the openings in the hip. Look down to the top left corner of your mat and reach the hands down in some area in that quadrant. Maybe bring the right foot over toward the right side of the mat to deepen the sensation. Hips pull back, hands pull forward. Then we'll bring the left hand more to the inside of the mat, spike onto the left toes as we reach the right hand up to the sky for a revolve side angle into our twist. Take a breath in. Exhale, palms down to the mat, step back into your high plank. We'll breathe in high plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog. When you get to down dog, lift the left foot up to the sky, and then step the left foot outside of the left hand. Reach the chest through for lizard lunge. Maybe rise onto the fingertips. Beautiful. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, drop the right knee. Right hand remains down. We'll twist the left hand up to the sky. Option to roll onto the outer blades of both feet as the right knee lifts. Take one more breath in your twist. As you exhale, drop both hands down to the mat. Square off the legs a little more. Come into your Anjanayasana Low Lunge. Right knee stays down. Bend a little deeper into the left knee. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, hands meet the mat. We'll tuck the right toes, lift the right knee as the legs straighten in some capacity, folding over the left shin. Beautiful work. Start to bend into the right knee again, reach forward, and then rise up into your high crescent lunge. Palms come to heart center, lean forward, twist to the left. Press the right elbow down into the left knee. Use that to lift the chest higher. Breathe. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Come through center, lift the palms up, high crescent, then open into your Warrior Two shape. Work into your strength here. Look toward the top right corner of your mat and place your hands down in some capacity over there. Maybe bring your left foot over to the top left corner of the mat to deepen into the opening. Hands reach forward, hips pull back behind you. Then place the right hand closer to the middle of the mat. Twist the left hand open to the sky as we come onto the balls of the right foot, squaring the hips forward. Take a breath in. Exhale, left hand comes down to the mat. Step back into your high plank. We'll be in high plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Last one here. Inhale, right leg to the sky. As you exhale, step the right foot outside of the right hand. Pull the chest forward into your lizard lunge. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, drop the left knee. Left hand releases down. We'll reach the right hand to the sky into a twist. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out, hands down. Square off the hips a little bit more. Maybe bring the right foot toward the middle of the mat and rise up into your Anjanayasana Low Lunge. Breathe into new space in the heart, in the hips here. Big inhale. Exhale, release, hands down. Tuck the left toes, straighten the legs in some capacity as hips pull back in space. Fold over the right shin. Start to bend into the right knee, shift it forward, and rise up into your high crescent. Bring your palms to center, lean forward, and then twist to the right using the bind left elbow to right knee. Deepen your twist. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Start to release, come through high crescent lunge, and then we'll open up into our warrior two. Feel the hips open, feel your shoulders relax. Look over to the top left quadrant of your mat. Reach the hands down in some capacity over there. Bring your right foot a little bit wider to the best of your abilities, and then pull the hips back. Press the hands forward and down into the ground. Good. Reach the left hand more to the middle of the mat as the right hand twists up to the sky, and we rotate onto the balls of the left feet. Take a breath in. Release the right hand down to the mat. Step back into your high plank. We'll hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down dog. When you get to down dog, lift the left foot up to the sky. Reach the left foot outside of the left hand. Pull the chest through. Find your deep lizard lunge. Good. We'll drop the right knee down to the mat. Right hand grounds. Twist up into your twisted lunge. I'm like out of breath right now, y'all. But option to roll onto the outer blades of both feet as we twist the left knee open out to the side. So much energy, so much movement. Take a breath in. As you exhale, release the hands down. Right knee drops. Lift the hands up into your low lunge Anjanayasana. All this space, all this opening. Take a breath in. Exhale, release the hands down. Straighten out the legs as you pull the hips up and back. Fold over the left shin. Start to bring the weight forward and rise up into your high crescent lunge. Bring your palms to heart center, lean forward, and then twist to the left. Use the bind of your right elbow to left knee, deepen it. Beautiful. Come back through center, hands lift up to the sky. Open out to your warrior two. Look over to the top right quadrant of your mat. Reach the hands down, pull your hips back in space. Hands pull forward, find the length. And then right hand will come further toward the middle of the mat as we reach the left hand up to the sky for our revolved side angle. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release the hands down to the mat. Step back to high plank. We'll hold this for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep breathing. Drop down to your knees if you need for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog. When you get to down dog, look out in front of you. Walk the feet forward to your hands. Forward fold top of the mat. Option for Padagustasana, using the peace sign fingers to hook around the big toes and pull yourself into a twist. Option for, or not a twist, into a deeper fold. And also an option for Padahastasana, gorilla pose, by sliding the hands underneath the feet for a nice wrist stretch. Whatever you choose, find your breath here. Notice your heartbeat. Notice how some of those movements landed, of course, without having any judgment on yourself, your body, without having any judgment around the class. Just overall having a sense of gratitude and kindness just for being alive and being able to breathe and move our bodies. Knowing that everything else is just a bonus. Beautiful. Slowly roll yourself up to standing. When you roll up to stand, reach the palms up nice and high. Reach the palms up and back, press the hips forward, come into a minor back bend. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, cactus the arms, draw the elbows closer to the hips. Clasp the hands behind your back, lift the chest, pull the hands down, take a breath in. Exhale, just release the bind. Inhale, reach the hands up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. From your forward fold position, just start to bend the knees and bring your hips down toward your heels and come into a seat. Plop your butt down on your mat and we'll come into a wide-legged seated forward fold. I'm going to turn to face y'all just so you can see what I'm doing a little bit more. But you can face whatever direction you want. So we're in this nice wide-legged forward fold. I'd like us to use a little bit of time just to bounce around here. This is one of my favorite stretches, but this is also a very intense stretch for my hips especially. even though this is a very deep hamstring opener, I feel this especially in my hip flexors. So it just takes me some time to get into it. I also think there's a lot of value held in dynamic movements before doing longer holds. The dynamic movements, the pulses, the shifting the weight around, it allows us to wake up these certain muscle groups so that by the time we're ready to hold the stretches for a longer time, we don't strain them, we don't surprise them. We're warming them up and slowly getting them a little bit more available for these deeper stretches, trying to do it in the most safe and mindful way possible. Maybe you're like, what is he doing? Maybe I look crazy up on the screen just bouncing around, folding over different parts, but it really just creates so much more space with me, and that's what I want to share with y'all. I want to share with y'all the things that I've learned from trying out different things in my body. So we will start to hold for a little longer now. We're going to fold over our right leg. So just try to find a pretty neutral fold. I might grab my bolster in a second, but these folds are good places, or if you have any props or things to rest on, they can feel good to make these shapes feel a little more restorative. But we'll start to move into a side body version of this. So getting shorter on the right side body, long in the left side body as we reach the left hand overhead. You can imagine the left hand is sort of reaching toward the outer blade of the right foot. Of course, it doesn't really matter if that bind connects. You can just have the intention of reaching up and over. As long as you're feeling a lengthening sensation in the left side body, then you are in the right place. As you can see, I'm still finding movement. I'm rolling my right ankle around, and I'm kind of opening and closing the side body a little bit, and just to help myself continue to create healthy space. Good. Keep breathing. We'll just be here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Start to release and sit up to stand. Shake out the legs a little bit if you want, and then we'll fold over the left leg. Again, we will find that side body stretch, but first we'll just find a direct fold over the left leg. And this fold, by the way, your legs can be as wide or as narrow as you want. In my opinion, it should be somewhere that starts to open up the inner hamstrings, but not anywhere that brings in any strain, or not anywhere that feels too stressful even just when you're sitting up. You can always have a little bend in your knees too, and you can always keep some activation in your quad and legs to make it a little more stable. But we'll start to move into that side body, so shorter in the left side body, really nice and long in the right side body as we reach the right hand up and over in the direction of the left foot. Maybe you connect for the bind, maybe not. It is certainly not a requirement. You can find stillness here. You can find any little movements that are nice to you. Let it be free, let it be open, let it be boundless. Just experience the sensations, hopefully finding a little bit of length. Hopefully feeling the release of a little bit of tension that's being held in the deltoids or the shoulders or any part of the back body here. And we'll just be here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sit up. Sit up nice and tall. Place the hands kind of right in front of you and use that just to sit up as tall as you can, pressing through the mat, finding a little bit of lift in the chest. And then we'll fold down the middle just by crawling our hands out in front of us, keeping our spine as long as we can, just reaching the palms or fingertips out in front of us to create as much of a hinge at the hips we can without rounding the spine. And then when you feel like you met your limit, then maybe round the spine a little bit and fold deeper. Settle into a very soft version of this stretch. We'll just be here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start to release and sit up. From here, we're going to come into a half pigeon shape with the option to take deer pose or 90-90 stretch instead. So this is where I'm going to grab my bolster or cushion, but again, it's not required. It's just because my hips are tight. So for 90-90 pose or deer pose, this is where we would bring a relative 90-degree angle in both legs, try to sit down fully in the right hip, and this is just we're focusing hopefully on the outside of the right hip here. So we want to find a space where we can fold over the right leg just a little bit. You can even stay elevated and just feel that stretch in the outer right hip. So you can keep that bend in the left leg, or you can extend your left leg to the back of your mat. We're just going to keep the bend in the right knee as the right leg lays out in front of us. And what I'm going to do with the cushion for myself is I'm going to place it underneath my right hip to bring the ground up so that it's a little bit easier for me to get to as I extend the left leg out behind me. And then I will most likely linger in this upright position until I feel comfortable enough to fold all the way down. But we'll have plenty of time here. This is a very intense stretch, so I always like to give ample time. We'll have at least a minute to settle into this shape. And you can keep doing any little dynamic movements, or you could just soften into a still shape. Just keep breathing. Keep noticing the sensations of this shape on your body. As we slow down the practice today, notice where you can release some tension, where any stress is being held on to. Maybe it's the neck, maybe it's the jaw and the shoulders. Maybe it's the hips, and this is doing a good job already. Either way, just continue this sense of self-observation. And I'll stop talking now and just let us breathe and settle in. And we'll just have a few more breaths on this side. So starting to gently ease out of your half pigeon, getting any last movements in. And then we'll just steadily, gradually shift on over toward the other side. So you could just swing your left leg out in front, move any props you got. If you want to come through a quick down dog, you're more than welcome to. And again, maybe you keep a bend in your right knee to make it a little more available for you. Maybe you fully straighten the right leg out behind you. Either way, we'll just find a nice fold over the left shin. Most importantly to me, I just think it's an important step to be able to ground your left hip fully down on the mat here. So that's why I use the cushion, so that I can do that. But otherwise, do that or bending the right knee, or to closing the angle between your left heel and your hips a little bit, so just having less of an intense pigeon fold in your left leg. Feel free to take your time exploring the options, but just like the other side, we'll have at least a minute here to settle in, to just breathe deeply, to tune into our bodies, knowing that anytime our mind wanders to any outside situations or any stressors, we have the conscious ability to notice the fact that our mind wandered, to come back to the breath, to come back to the body, the spirit, and to simply be here in this moment. We'll have a few more breaths in this half pigeon shape. If there's any other little movements or variations you'd like to find while you're here, it's a great time. And starting to make your way out of it, making your way off any props, and then we'll just recline onto our backs. We'll come into a Subtabata Kanasana, recline bound angle, feet together, knees wide. The palms can rest on your heart and belly, or maybe you rest the hands on your pointy hip bones just to feel your structure, to ground down into the physical body. From here, extend the left leg out long on the mat, and then hug the right knee in toward your chest. Rock the right knee around a little bit, just give it some personal love. Working around the joint. And then we'll extend the right leg, and you can either clasp the hands behind your right knee, you can bring the hands a little bit further up behind your right calf, or if you have the range, you can reach the hands up for your right foot and just pull the leg closer for a hamstring stretch. And you can keep as much of a bend into your right knee as you'd like. Just feeling this stretch in some capacity. Take a deep breath in and a big sigh out. One more deep breath in. Big sigh out. Hug the right knee in toward your chest by bending into the leg. Give yourself one last squeeze, and then switch. Right leg extends. Hug the left knee in toward your chest. Roll it around a little bit. Give some love. From here, we'll start to extend the left leg up to the sky. Again, hands can either clasp behind the left knee, you can bring them up to behind the left calf, or you can reach all the way up to the left foot, keeping as much of a bend as you need, or maybe straightening the left leg entirely. Just work into this deep hamstring stretch. You can even bend your right knee and place your right foot on the mat if that helps. Taking a few breaths here. Trying to relax in the upper body as much as you can. Take a deep breath in. And a big sigh out. Deep breath in. Big sigh out. Start to release, hug the left knee in toward your chest. Give one last squeeze. And then extend the right leg out in front of you into your final resting shape. Yogis, this is where I will leave you today. You're more than welcome to linger in the Shavasana for much longer and just enjoy the softness, enjoy the much-deserved relaxation. You're also welcome to continue your journey on your mat into a deeper practice if you'd wish. It's whatever feels best in your body and your mind to make you feel connected. But until I see you next time, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. It's always an honor to share this space, so I hope to practice with each other soon again. Until next time, peace and love.